Yo, Stefon Diggs just got nuclear exposed in open court, and the woman on that stand buried him in front of the entire world. The chef didn't just drop one bomb. She lit up the whole house, naming employees, naming patterns, naming names while Cardi B's man sat there sweating bullets in a courtroom seat. And bro really thought playing in Cardi B's face was gonna humble her? Diggs just signed his own clown certificate in blood. Before we get into it, subscribe, don't miss it. Nah. Mila Adams, Stefon Diggs' former personal chef, took the stand on May 4, 2026, in Dedham District Court, Massachusetts, and testified under OATH that her relationship with Diggs started as friendship, turned sexual, and then turned professional. This is a felony strangulation and misdemeanor assault and battery trial. Diggs pleaded not guilty to back on February 13th. Bro really thought a criminal trial was the right time to play tough guy. Now let's pull up the receipts that show why this whole thing backfired. Let me walk you all through the actual quotes, straight from the courtroom transcripts and the reporting. No spin, no remix. Just what was said. In her testimony reported by AOL on May 4th, 2026, Mila Adams told the court her relationship with Diggs was, and I quote, complicated, describing how it transitioned from friendship into a sexual one before any formal employment. When I read that line, I had to put my phone down for a second. Complicated? Bro, that's the most loaded one-word answer I've heard in a celebrity case all year. That's lawyer speak for this man be knowing me intimately for years before I ever picked up a pen. Then TMZ ran the breakdown on May 4th, 2026, where Adams confirmed she and Diggs had a sexual relationship before she became his personal chef. When I saw TMZ post that headline, I was like, nah, this is over for him. Because once TMZ runs it, the rest of the internet copies and pastes. Bro said what under oath? That's the dumbest flex in NFL history. You're sitting in a criminal trial, and the first thing the jury hears is your accuser saying you were sleeping together before she was ever on payroll? Diggs really thought this was a good idea. According to the testimony recap from NBC Boston, Adams stated under oath that she met Diggs in 2022 when he slid into her DMs asking her to cook for him, and that they'd known each other for around 4 years. 4 years. You all hear that? She told the jury Diggs first floated hiring her as a personal chef in February 2025, but she didn't actually move in to start the job until July 2025, and that arrangement only ended in December 2025, the same month of the alleged assault. When I saw that timeline laid out, I was like, hold up, rewind that. Now here's the one that sent the courtroom gasping. Per AOL's coverage of the trial, Adams confirmed on the stand that she had been planning to coordinate outfits with Diggs' then-girlfriend, Cardi B, for the trip. I'm sorry, what? The woman he was allegedly sleeping with was texting Cardi B about matching fits? Bro said what? That's the dumbest flex I've ever heard. When I read this, I had to do a double take. Is he serious? You let your side piece coordinate fashion with the mother of your unborn child? Nah, you can't say that out loud and expect people to take you seriously. And the prosecution dropped one more grenade. For the Enterprise News live trial coverage, Adams testified that Diggs allegedly offered her $100,000. 6 figures. On the table. That line right there, that's where Diggs lost the plot. Now that we got the quotes, let's connect the dots. Now check the calendar, because the dates on this thing tell a story that nobody on TV is putting together. Per Billboard's official timeline, Cardi B and Diggs welcomed their baby boy on November 13th, 2025. Count back 9 months. That's right, February 2025. The same month, Diggs allegedly started talking to the chef about a permanent live-in role. That conversation happened the same window Cardi most likely found out she was pregnant. Bro really decided to set up a live-in situation while Cardi B was sitting at home looking at a positive test? That's a move of someone who doesn't have ONE smart advisor in the building. Then comes June 2025. That's when Cardi went Instagram official, posting the pictures from the late May Knicks game and basically telling the world this my man. That tweet drop happened literally weeks before the chef physically moved into his Dedham crib in July. So Stefon Diggs waited until after his pregnant girlfriend made it public, then moved in someone he allegedly had a sexual history with. The audacity. So Diggs did this within days of going public with Cardi? That's terrible timing. Brew. Any smart person would have waited. But Diggs isn't smart. He's the same dude who, but people were simultaneously accused in court documents of fathering a 5-month-old daughter with model Lord Giselle. That whole chef job? It blew up in December 2025. And that's the same month Diggs and Cardi were photographed in matching vintage Chanel at the Patriots vs. Jets game, December 29th to be exact. You'll see what I'm saying? While Cardi was out here playing fashion icon girlfriend in a Chanel tweed blazer, the alleged altercation that started this whole criminal case was unfolding in the same house Cardi probably visited. Diggs really thought nobody would line up the calendar? And now zoom out. There's Kayana Barber, Diggs' ex, who came forward with her son's birth timeline amid the cheating claims. So you've got the chef, the model with the alleged 5-month-old, Kayana situation, the alleged braider, and Cardi B, all on overlapping timelines in 2025. That's not a relationship, brew, that's a franchise. Diggs really thought he could juggle this many storylines without one of them landing in a Massachusetts courtroom? That's when you know he doesn't have real advisors. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Now I want you all to put on your detective hats because I caught something nobody's talking about. That word, complicated. Zoom into just that one word. In legal testimony, attorneys coach witnesses to be precise. You don't say complicated by accident. That word is a flair. It tells the jury. There's a backstory I don't want to fully unpack on a microphone, but I want you to know it exists. Diggs' defense team had to feel that word land in their stomachs. And Diggs really didn't catch the weight of that word. That's embarrassing. Now the matching braids moment. Zoom into O&E detail. According to page 6 June 3rd, 2025 reporting, Offset deactivated his social media accounts the moment Diggs' debut braids identical to baby Wave's. The Reddit pop culture thread documented the exact sequence. Wave had the braids in April. Diggs debuted them after. Per the Instagram Reel breakdown, the braider's name reportedly tied back to one alleged stylist named in adjacent gossip, Shia Charles. I'm not saying anything definitive, but the pattern of the same small circle of women orbiting Diggs while also working in Cardi's ecosystem, that's not coincidence, that's choreography. And Diggs thought nobody would map it. If he had half a brain, he would have used different vendors for everything. The location forensics is the part that haunts me. The alleged December incident happened at the Dedham, Massachusetts house. Same house where the live-in chef arrangement started in July. Same house, allegedly, where coordinating outfit conversations were happening for the late 2025 events. He didn't separate his lives. He stacked them on top of each other in one zip code. That's the problem with Diggs. He doesn't read between the lines. He doesn't even read the damn floor plan. And here's the audio forensic piece. That $100,000 figure Adams testified to for the Enterprise Live coverage? That's not a casual number. That's a "this is a problem I need to make disappear" number. People don't offer 6 figures over a payroll dispute. Diggs really thought tossing a 6-figure offer would sweep it under the rug? Nah. Brew. That's a move that guarantees it ends up on the stand. Now let's see how the media covered this. The framing across outlets is wildly different, and that's where the truth lives. TMZ framed it as a damage control story for Diggs, leading with a before she became his chef angle to soften the sexual history reveal. That's TMZ being TMZ. Minimize the celebrity damage. Lean into the salacious headline. But CBS News Boston framed it completely differently, as a tense cross-examination story, where the defense's strategy looked like attacking Adams' credibility rather than denying the relationship. That's a huge narrative gap. One outlet says consensual past, no big deal. The other outlet says his lawyers are panicking on cross. Meanwhile, NBC Boston went with a LibBlog clinical framing, focusing on the Day 2 clash between Adams and the defense. That framing tells you the legal community thinks Adams held up under pressure. And AOL leaned hardest into the human angle, headlining the chef breaking down, recounting the alleged abuse. Different outlets, 4 different lenses, and not how any of them paints Diggs as a victim here. Now some Diggs supporters are saying this is all manufactured, that the chef's story doesn't hold up. But those are the same people who thought the matching braid stunt was harmless trolling. The receipts don't lie. Some Diggs fans are reaching trying to defend a man who's facing felony strangulation charges while juggling alleged paternity claims with a model. If you still think Diggs is a clean explanation after all this, you're not analyzing, you're praying. But here's what nobody is saying. Mainstream media wants you to think this is a celebrity gossip moment. A messy NFL boyfriend. A chef getting paid to talk. They are framing it as drama. Here's what they won't tell you. This is a textbook case of psychological warfare. And Diggs was the one running the playbook on Cardi B. Until it backfired so violently that the whole thing collapsed on his head. Look at the pattern. Bring an alleged ex into the house of staff. Get her coordinating outfits with a new famous girlfriend. Match braid with a new girlfriend's son to make her estranged husband lose his mind on social media. Show up at the Super Bowl with a friend close enough to make Cardi visibly uncomfortable. Then deny pregnancy publicly. When interviewed about Cardi expecting, he reportedly said, "I heard about that," like he was a stranger in his own relationship. That's not bad luck. That's a calculated, humbling campaign. Diggs is playing checkers while Cardi is playing chess, and now the chessboard is a witness stand. And here's the angle nobody on YouTube is brave enough to say out loud. Diggs underestimated Cardi the same way the entire industry has underestimated her for a decade. Because he comes from the NFL world where wags are decorations. Cardi B is a Grammy-winning, Billboard charting, lawsuit-winning force of nature with one of the meanest legal teams in entertainment. Remember, per USA Today, she's fresh off a $24 million civil case where she walked out a winner. Bro thought he could humble that? Diggs is a puppet to his own ego, and that ego is what put him in a Deedham courtroom. Now connect it back. Remember that chef testimony? Here's the real reason it dropped this week and not earlier. Diggs cycled back into Cardi's orbit in the months leading up to this trial. Allegedly, and this is my opinion, that wasn't love. That was positioning. Sit next to a Grammy-winning rapper at the Patriots vs. Jets game on December 29th in matching Chanel. Make the world think you're a stable family man. Then walk into court 4 months later looking like a victim of circumstance instead of defendant in a felony case. That's not a coincidence. That's image laundering. And is running it on the woman he was allegedly clowning the whole time. Diggs represents the old guard of athletes who think a rap girlfriend is an accessory. The culture is done with that. Look at Travis and Taylor. That's what a respectful crossover looks like. Diggs isn't crossing over. He's using. And the moment the chef opened her mouth on the stand, his entire manufactured persona started cracking. Here's the part that's gonna age badly for him. His whole good guy media rebrand is built on Cardi B as cultural capital. Strip her away, and what's left? An NFL player who got cut from the Patriots in the middle of a felony trial with paternity allegations from at least 2 other women in the same calendar year. Diggs' whole persona is manufactured, and it's falling apart in real time, in a Deedham courtroom, on a live stream. The industry needs Diggs to take this L because it's given them the perfect cautionary tale. He's playing checkers while the prosecution is playing chess. Every move he makes is predictable. He's already lost a narrative. He just hasn't lost a verdict yet. And that's the truth they won't tell you. So what happens next? Here's what's most likely about to happen. The defense is gonna keep hammering Adams on cross-examination, trying to paint her as money-motivated because of that alleged $100,000 offer. But every time they push her, more names of other women in his life are gonna spill out. When that happens, Diggs is gonna look desperate. A man trying to discredit one woman while 5 more are sitting in the wings on potential witness lists. The jury's gonna see it. The silence from his camp is gonna hurt Diggs more than any chef's testimony could. Mark my words. By week's end, somebody else from his alleged employee circle is gonna leak something. Cardi, meanwhile, is gonna get the public sympathy, the headlines, and the moral high ground. If somehow the jury splits and Diggs walks on the felony strangulation charge but eats the misdemeanor assault, which is genuinely possible given how messy the cross-examination is getting, Diggs is still gonna get destroyed in the court of public opinion. Because once the world hears a testimony about the chef, the model with the alleged baby, kinda son timeline, and the braider, he's not coming back from that. We saw what Cardi did to Tasha K in court. We saw the precedent. Diggs is not ready for what's coming if Cardi takes this seriously and decides to publicly distance herself with one strategically timed Instagram caption. He doesn't stand a chance of keeping the stable boyfriend narrative alive. Looking at the bigger picture, this trial is going to be a marker. 5 years from now, when people talk about NFL players who tried to use their celebrity girlfriends as PR shields, Diggs is going to be Exhibit A. Rookies are going to get warned about the Diggs scenario by their agents. Brands are gonna add morality clauses thinking about this exact situation. And Cardi? Cardi's gonna come out of this scenario looking like the woman who survived a public humiliation campaign with her dignity, her son, and her bag fully intact. Diggs is watching the culture move on without him, and there's nothing he can do about it. This is a moment everyone remembers as when Diggs' relevance died. Whatever happens, one thing's clear, Diggs already lost. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed uncovering the real story, smash that like button and hit subscribe so you never miss when we expose what everyone else is too scared to say. Ring that bell for notifications. And if you want more truth bombs like this, click on one of these videos next. Trust me, you'll want to see what we found.